Hi everyone, good to see you again all. I hope you all will be fine. Please check Iraq latest news updates. On Wednesday, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Al-Sudani led discussions in the 40th regular session of the Council of Ministers, addressing vital national issues and outlining priorities for the government's agenda. During the session, the Council, following the Prime Minister's emphasis on transparent governance and media responsibility, voted to pass the bill granting access to information. The legislation, reviewed by the State Council, will now move forward for consideration in the Council of Representatives as per constitutional mandates. Valuable input from the legal department in the General Secretariat of the Council of Ministers and contributions from the Ministers of Health and Justice were considered. The Council of Ministers declared Yazidi Eid Jama, falling on the 6th to the 14th of October, as an official holiday throughout Iraq, recognizing the cultural and religious significance for the Yazidi community. To bolster the agricultural sector, the Council approved an increase in the capital of the Agricultural Cooperative Bank. This increase, totaling 29,476,500,000 dinars, was sanctioned by the Committee for Determining Corporate Capital within the Ministry of Finance. This decision, complying with the amended Public Companies Law, Law No. 22 of 1997, aims to support farmers and agricultural initiatives. A parallel move involved the Industrial Bank, where the Council took the following steps. Cancel the Council of Ministers Decision 234 of 2014 regarding capital increase due to lack of necessity. Submit a new establishment statement for the Industrial Bank to the Ministry of Trade for legal measures regarding capital increase. Approve a total capital increase of 529,476,500,000 dinars, incorporating revenues from foreign labor fees for 2021, replacing the previously allocated amount. The Ministry of Finance is tasked with the implementation of the above decision. Financial and accounting reform were also priorities. All spending units must now submit funding requests within the operational investment budget directly to the Ministry of Finance's accounting department. The respective ministers or governors are accountable for fulfilling legal obligations outlined in the Federal Financial Management Law No. 6 of 2019 and other relevant legislation. A direct contract between the Iraqi Oil Marketing Company (SOMO) and two affiliated companies, the Ministry of Oil's oil tankers and the Ministry of Transportation's Maritime Transport Company, was approved in the energy sector. This contract allocates 70% of exported oil products for transport via the oil tanker company and the remaining 30% through the Maritime Transport Company. Additionally, the Council decided on various financial allocations, including transferring funds from the Border Ports Authority budget to support the Network Customs Clearance Connection Program and compensating fish breeders by allocating funds from the Ministry of Finance to the Ministry of Agriculture. Further approvals included the National Framework Program Document for Technical Cooperation 2024-2029 and the exemption of Contract 22 Iraq MOD Poly 2022 for the supply of CH-5 drones and their fuel from audit and review procedures. And on Wednesday, economic expert Dr. Al-Mosen criticized the continued fluctuation of the dollar exchange rate and the lack of control over the rise in its value in the parallel market, pointing out the existence of collusion by some parties within the central bank regarding the dollar issue. Al-Mosen told Al-Maloma, the management of the central bank is aware of what banking companies are doing in terms of selling the dollar and exploiting passports, but some figures within the central bank are complicit in such matters. He added, collusion within the central bank regarding the dollar file is on behalf of some political blocs and banks, and therefore it falls within the category of conspiracy with the aim of putting pressure on the Prime Minister because he is better than his predecessors. He stated that there are attempts by the Prime Minister regarding the dollar file to achieve benefits for some parties, stressing that the Sudanese visit to New York and his meetings with U.S. Treasury officials will give him a major boost in the fight against corruption, which will become clear during the coming period. And researcher and writer, Halim Salman, confirmed today, Wednesday, that the management of the central bank was unable to find solutions to stop the deterioration of the exchange rate, while its packages of measures contributed to the fluctuation of the exchange rate and did not stop the rampage of dollar traders, calling on the management of the central bank to place their resignations at the disposal of Prime Minister Mohammed. Shia Al-Sudani, to avoid the imposition of further U.S. sanctions. Salman told Jarida that, after continuous monitoring of the performance of the current administration of the Central Bank of Iraq, which made promises more than 8 months ago to control the price of the dollar and make real reforms to the work of banks, as well as activating electronic payment points in all Iraqi cities and controlling a smuggling operation. Currency and money laundering. He added, it turns out to us that the management of the central bank, represented by Governor Ali al-Alik, his deputy, and a number of general directors, were unable to propose solutions that stop the deterioration of the exchange rate and were content with proposing packages of measures that contributed to the fluctuation of the exchange rate and did not stop the unrest of dollar traders. He continued, what forced the Prime Minister to intervene personally in providing support and monitoring the performance of the departments in order to avoid exacerbating the problems of dollar transfers for trade and to prevent the smuggling of the dollar outside the borders. Salman called on the management of the central bank, including its governor and general directors, to place their resignations at the disposal of the Prime Minister, noting that this falls within the beginning of the solution to reform the central bank and the banking institution to work within the umbrella of international standards in order to avoid the imposition of further sanctions from the American side. And a member of the Finance Committee in the House of Representatives, Mohammed Nouri, considered the control of foreign banks over the currency selling market in Iraq as a dangerous precedent. In an interview with Al-Sumerian News, Nouri said, the control of a large group of non-Iraqi banks over the currency selling market is a dangerous precedent in the Iraqi economic market, given that Iraq has solid private banks that have the potential to operate according to international conditions and standards. He criticized the central bank for setting conditions that apply only to foreign banks for selling currency in Iraq, including the Jordanian National Bank, which now accounts for a large percentage of dollar sales in the currency auction, indicating that what the Bank of Jordan sells in one day amounts to more than $200 million in one day. Nouri pointed out that, at a time when we suffer from a lack of cash flow, where the dollar goes abroad, stressing that there is unorganized work inside a central bank of Iraq, want an unregulated work mechanism, an unreal submission mechanism, and an unreal set of controls and conditions controlled by non-Iraqi banks, indicating that the Iraqi central bank's procedures serve foreign banks and those behind them from entities trying to control the currency market in Iraq. He stressed, the facilities granted to foreign banks are the main reason for the dollar's rise, given that no one can obtain what is offered in the market except this narrow group of banks and through agreements made in secret with the central bank, noting that the existence of the difference of 25 numbers between the standard and real price of the dollar is a problem caused by the central bank and its routine procedures. Observers wonder about the parties behind the issue of a Jordanian bank acquiring 70% of the currency auction at Central Bank of Iraq at a time when Iraqi banks are being punished or threatened with punishment if they demand their rights. Thanks, take care.